So this week we read the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. Very interesting read. It's pretty awesome whenever you can read someone's passion, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, to see someone invest into something that's beyond trying to get power or trying to gain money or trying to earn something out of it, but actually trying to make a difference. Again, whether that difference you agree with or not, something totally different. I've always had a lot of respect for people who write with passion, who speak with passion, even if I disagree. And, sometimes we're going to disagree about things, a lot of times we do. And you see in this particular writing, when I read it, I was trying to figure out where it fits amongst everything we read, and then I realized that we're seeking another truth, truth of what is real justice, what is real when it comes to economics, and what is real when it comes to taking care of people who don't necessarily are not able to take care of themselves. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that because I think it covers a lot of bases. I think it's economics. I think it's about the true ability of a person to care about another person, whether we're people or animals. I think there's a lot of things that it covers. Religion. I mean, there's several places that this fits. It's mostly, to me, an economic right, and it's trying to fix what he thinks is an injustice. And he comes up with a system he thinks will, not necessarily his system, but he explains how this system would be proper and fitting for the current economy. And so in the current economy that you have this beast that he considers a beast, this this capitalism, where you have the top 10% that's feeding, or is getting fed by the lower 90%, and the lower 90% people are suffering, they're impoverished, they're working over hours, children are having to work to help provide for family, and so you see him being upset about the fact that some of these things are taking place, and so he thinks he has a better fit for it. He talks about the fact that it started out with humble beginnings, good ideas. Hey, we'll start this industry. It'll start helping revolutionize and getting products out there to the folks and to people's hands. And then all of a sudden it gets so big that countries that were barely touching in the water now are dependent on it. It turned barbaric societies into civilized societies, and now they're dependent on it. And so eventually you go to a point to where you can't pass that point anymore. You can't go back. You are there or forward. And it's gotten so big that even the people running it can't eat, or are slaves to it. And the fact that the people that the biggest commodity of all, not the product being made, but those that are working in the plant, those are the ones being mistreated. Those are the ones that are suffering. Those are the ones that can't own land. Those are the ones that's not benefiting from it at all. They have no life. It's to work to live instead of living to work. So you see that mentality in Marx's writings. I think Marx is actually trying to say, hey, I'm here for the working guy. I'm here for the guy who or a guy or gal, the family that has had to send their 5-year-old kid to work. I'm here for the guy who's had to do without, and so that this person, this high value person can sit and life of luxury and just let the good times roll, and you're suffering, you're struggling, and they're offering you this thing called a job, but they're not paying you. You're not making enough to live. And you can see that in some of our modern day stuff. As we've, in the last 20 years in our country, you've seen a split. There's really no middle class. It's an upper class and a lower class. From someone myself who's made a lot of money, and then I've turned around and since October I've been unemployed, and so I can see that big difference. I can see the change of things. It's amazing to me just how much change has happened in our economy and our world and amongst people. As I sold cars back in 2008, they were brand new vehicles. You could buy big trucks, $30,000-$40,000, are now $80,000 to $100,000, and so you see this huge separation in the last 17, 18 years of just in the car business on my side, but for a lot of people, just in business in general. And so I want to ask these two questions here. They're important. There was a phrase made by Marx in his writing. It says, "Has not Christianity declaimed against private property, against marriage, against the state? Has it not preached in the place of these charity, poverty, celibacy, and mortification of the flesh, monastic life, and mother church? Christian socialism is but the holy water which the priest consecrates the heart burnings of the aristocrat. Okay, with that being said, do you think that with the right leaders, that communism could actually work? Also, with that being said, who do you think is responsible in society today? Is it political? The church? Who is responsible for helping the underdog, for helping the person who can't help themselves or even is too lazy to take care of themselves? Because we struggle with that here. So who is responsible to that person to help take care of them, to make sure that they are considered equal and fed? And where do we stand on that as far as Christians go? Because we could easily be like Marx and say, well, you know what? I'm here. Nobody will have property. We'll all be the same. Or we can say, you know what? You do deserve to work for what you get, but because I have a little extra, I have to give because that's what the Bible teaches. Jesus taught that kind of, love to give. And then who's responsible for what they do with it? If somebody's lazy and I give and help, am I responsible or are they responsible? So something to think about when you think about the idea of what Mark was actually trying to do in this writing.